Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I will be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Cancer. If Cancer is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. And so our card tonight is the Eight of Discs. Eight of Discs. And has everything to do with prudence. All right, let's check these tea leaves out, see what is going on. What do they have to say tonight? Here comes TT. Hello, TT. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. And it is free to subscribe. Okay. All right, we have some really interesting Did it just fall? Just looking at it, it changed. Sometimes that happens. They just kind of tumble to the side. Oh no, I was just looking at it wrong. There it is. Okay, so what I'm looking at is we have a number 4. Okay, right there. We have a bird kind of about to take lift off there. And I'm imagining that this is maybe like a young hawk or a young eagle. And so I feel that this is a time when you are kind of launching some new ideas. You have been, I think, very much in your kind of daydreamy, fantasy, inspired and creative space. Probably kind of, taking note of some of the things that are coming to the surface. And I think now you have begun the process of putting these inspirations, these beautiful kind of gifts from the universe into whatever the work is that you're doing. If this is creative, if this is in your work life where you are making your resources, or maybe you are putting this energy into your hobbies and passions, the things that you like to spend your time doing. But I do feel like there's this kind of turn towards not just being a passive participant or going through the motions, but you have had this time that has felt almost kind of like a revelation of sorts. And I feel like you're really in that flow place. You are lost in the chain of imagery, of beautiful words and impressions, sensations kind of flowing through. And here you are, I can imagine you maybe have just gone out to buy a new journal or, maybe get some new paints or, whatever it is that you do, whatever you work with. I can see you preparing, getting all of the things, the tools ready looking at your schedule and thinking, this is when I'm going to fit this time in there. I'm going to maybe go to work and then I'll come home and I will spend a couple hours working on this love that I have. Whatever it is, just kind of aching to get out. And I think that this is kind of a return to your happy place. Okay, and I think that for some amount of time you've been trying to figure out how and what needs to align to kind of get you back into this place that I think this is kind of almost the most important thing, or at least the thing that you seek, and that is to find everything to align, where you have the means, the motivation, and the inspiration to be creating, be innovative, working on projects, not in this kind of more scattered or maybe overly busy where you don't have time, or maybe it's that, at times you just kind of, go into a place of being a little more, it might feel kind of stagnant, right? But that is over. And so we also have, and now I see a person who is maybe with an animal here, beside a house, kneeling with their animal. We also have a heart. So I feel like there is a great love of the animal kind. You probably have some animal companions, some beloveds in your life. And I think that, and listen, if you don't, you have, right? Maybe it's been a long time, maybe many years, for whatever reason, the circumstances have not allowed you, or it just hasn't been, financially, logical, or whatever. Maybe you live in a place where you cannot have animals. A lot of places like that. But I do think that you have a great ability to relate to probably most animals you come in contact with. So I think this is an important aspect of your life, of your personality. And I do feel like it kind of is almost like this is what makes your home feel like a home to you, is that you have beings, or a being that you have such a close relationship with. You enjoy coming home to your beloved kitty cat, or your puppy, or whatever, hamster, turtle, or whoever it is, and hang out and be together, and if you do not have an animal, and you are considering at some point, when everything is right, I think that's something that really would enrich your life. If you have the ability and the want, because it's a lot of work to have our companions. They are, some days I just think, my goodness, my, TT and Pudgy, who come and visit often, they're pretty easy, but even so, there's a lot of time spent with it. And I do, because I'm home a lot, I do spend a lot of time, holding them and cuddling them, and involving them, or them involving themselves, and yeah, and so I feel blessed that my life is aligned in such a way that they've been with me for so many years. Pudgy is almost 17 this year, and he's been around since, well, goodness, he's been with me since 2009 or 2010, somewhere in there. So we have been hanging out for a long time, me and that boy. All right, so we have a rhino down here, okay? And so the rhino is one of my favorites. I once had a beautiful dream about a family of rhinos going running down a beach and into the ocean to swim. And I think of that dream. I feel like I can almost smell it and feel the cool air and just the joy of watching them kind of frolic as much as a rhinoceros could. And so I look at this and, immediately it's always, this is a fortified being. This is a being that has a emotional and spiritual stature unlike most others. This is somebody who is very, very thoughtful in their movements. They do not waste time. Everything is very intentional, and there is, not unlike the American bison, which is another symbol I love to see. It is this sense of great love, a great, great love. But if you push too far or you go and disturb their family or, mess with their life in some way, you better watch out because they are going to gore you or stamp you right down. And so I feel like you are a person who really just likes to kind of keep things as simple as possible. You don't like a big ruckus or drama about anything. If things could just run as efficiently and smoothly and, on plan as possible, you would be quite happy. But, sometimes, and this is out of our control, there are people in our lives or, in the greater community around us, that things just kind of, don't go your way. Not even just don't go your way. It is just a lot of messiness, chaos, and big feelings that maybe seem quite unnecessary to you, or at least to be displayed in a way that feels really frivolous. And kind of indulgent in a way. And so I think that there's just this kind of armor that you have. And of course, we're talking about a crab person here, a Cancer. And so it does make sense. It does make sense to have kind of that protection of self. Now, let's take a look. We have a person standing here wearing, it looks like a cape of some kind. Okay, and the head is here, looking this way. Now we have some kind of dagger or a sword. We have a heart, and I feel like up here we have another person wearing maybe a robe or a cape, and it almost feels like I almost feel like this is like a magical conflict here, and I don't think it's a conflict in the way that this is some nefarious thing or there's some kind of real fight going on, but I do think that there's somebody in your life who you are close to who I think is, quite an equal in a lot of ways. I think that your kind of rapport with one another is that you go back and forth. I think there's kind of some witty banter, but it can kind of begin to, spill over into sometimes the emotional, or even kind of actually arguing with each other. I think that there's a really competitive nature, but there's also quite a partnership. And I think that really the thing that seems to be highlighted here is that there is an intellectual connection. And I think that's where things really began. Now, I do think that this person has kind of drawn a lot of love out of you as well. And I think with this person, or within this relationship or friendship, you have really kind of become a person, at least in this place with this person, a person who feels more and more able to share your mind, share your feelings, be more vulnerable. And I'm looking at the V there, so I was more vulnerable, and I think that even though there's a lot of kind of opposite stuff, you wouldn't necessarily think these two people would come together and this would kind of work. That this, again, it could be a friendship. It doesn't have to be an amorous relationship or anything. But I think that, you'd think on paper, no, these two would not get along really. But I think that both of you kind of balance each other. I can imagine you saying you have to kind of temper yourself a little bit here. Think about what you're going to say before you say it, or, maybe try to limit how reactionary you're being. And then on the other hand, I think this person kind of is somebody who, has helped you get into a place where those things that you seek, the sensations, I keep thinking it's like emotional sensations, a feeling of ecstasy or fondness, just being able to express that you enjoy somebody, enjoy their company, and being able to find a way to say that doesn't feel awkward or contrived. Maybe it still feels awkward, right? But maybe I think it's almost like a sense of you don't want to seem like you are pretending to be something you're not, or somebody you're not, and like you're acting out parts of your emotions, right? Because it doesn't feel normal, or maybe not, it's not normal. That's not the word. It doesn't feel well received, or received in a way that you intended. But I think that, that's more of a thing where it's almost kind of like imposter syndrome in a way. I think it's like you feel like people see you as something completely different as you feel yourself, or that you're always just kind of putting something on, trying to, just kind of fit in enough to kind of get through things without being noticed too much. And but I do think that within this relationship, in this place of safety, it's become a thing where it flows out of you. It doesn't, you don't even need to think about it so much. It just kind of happens. You just have begun to say what you mean, right? You don't have to consider, where do I have to be so careful here? And I think in this practice, it flows through the rest of your life a little bit more. Now, have you changed completely in the way that you communicate? No, probably not. Does that matter? No, it's it is. You are who you are, right? We all kind of are different people. We all, exist in different ways. There's nothing wrong with that. But it is interesting to be able to explore different ways of being. We don't always have to exist in like, this is what we're like, and we'll always be like this. No, life is for exploration. Life is for sometimes putting on different masks, sometimes wearing different hats, sometimes, letting somebody see what's beneath it all. That doesn't mean it has to be forever, right? Things can change, and they should. Life should be a variety in a lot of ways. And so I think this is an interesting time for you. I think it's a good time. I think, there's just a sense of thriving in a lot of ways. And I also see we have the solar symbol up here. So I think that it really is a feeling of, what is the word? Well, it is kind of like it feels a little more enlightened, okay? Like a little more authentic, a little more sometimes, right? And so, basking in that beautiful light that emanates from self. And I think just for even a time feeling like you don't have to worry. Did I say the wrong thing? Did I make them mad? Did I, this? Did I that? Oh no, I said too much, or, they're going to think I'm weird, or these things, that we all have. But certain signs maybe have them a little more, I think. Cancer is, you're overthinkers in a lot of ways, especially when it comes to how you convey these sacred aspects of self, and I think that it's hard not being able to just let that stuff be all over you, and just wear it as it is, or at least be able to show it to more people in your life. And so I think this is a time of growth. I mean, really profound growth. And so bravo to you. It's not easy. It is not easy. It's not, no matter how old we are, it's not easy to, open up and just kind of be what it is. But I will tell you, and I think maybe this comes with just being an increasingly older person. Also, maybe because I feel confident in being a mother. I still do not know what I'm doing most of the time, of course, but I feel in the process of becoming a mother for some reason, and I don't think this is the standard for most people or all people at all, but for me, in my individual experience, becoming a mother really made me feel so much more at ease just saying things that I'm thinking, that I'm feeling, talking about myself in a way that is more open. A lot of just kind of letting go of shame about things. And, of course, we all have our issues, insecurities, and places where we feel, that we could do better. But I think just saying what it is sometimes really is it's such a relief, because I think more often than not, we care so much more about something that we perceive to be a negative about ourselves than anybody else. Most people don't even notice or care about the things that we really highlight in our mind. And, you know, not to say nobody cares about what you're doing or anything like that, but I think that most people, you think about how do you look at people? How do you perceive people? Do you look for things to really pick out about them that you absolutely convict them of? Like, this is such an awful aspect of who you are as a person, and irredeemable and unattractive, and probably not, right? I hope not. I hope not. You know, but probably not. And so we have to remind ourselves sometimes, most people, they are just trying to survive their days just like anybody else. They don't care what you're wearing to the gas station, you know, how much money you're making, or, you know, where you went to school, or whatever. I don't know, whatever else that, you know, things that we worry about. You know, we think people are gonna think poorly of us. And so I don't know, you get to a point, I think, hopefully, where you just kind of own the things. It is what it is. It's just it's just one thing, that one part of my configuration. All right, let's see. We have just a V here, and we also had a V over here. Oops, it just fell as I said that, as I turned it. So we had two V's, and so a V word seems really important. Hopefully, you know, maybe I said earlier, maybe vulnerable, but maybe victory as well. Maybe this is it feels like a small victory. It is a massive victory. Okay. And so, what a beautiful time to be alive, right? It is. A lot of people might not say so or agree that we're living in the ideal world. Maybe we're not, but you know what? It's a miracle that we are here. I mean, truly. And I know I say it in a lot of my readings. It's just, it is mind-boggling, the amount of things that have to come together for us to even exist in this moment. And also to our lives to be sustained moment to moment. So, never, you know, when you are feeling a little, maybe, you know, adrift or whatever, try to remember, try, you know, to dig into yourself and remember that you are a divine being. You are a miracle. You are something that doesn't even necessarily make sense how, you know, all of these things could come together and here you are with this body, with this consciousness, and this life, this mythology, self-mythology, and you know, the many ordeals of your life, the beautiful stories and the tragedies and everything else in between. You know, every person's experience in life is infinitely interesting, even if it's hard to look at that way. It really is. Okay, Cancer, let's see. We have the divine doors. Let's go ahead and check these out, see what's going on over here in the doors. I'm going to stop where it feels right. Okay, and we have a stranger's grace. Ego fears the sudden danger, but never underestimate the kindness of a loving stranger. There we go. In some ways, yeah, exactly what we've been talking about. Yes, I like it when you doors are speaking to me. All right. Cancer, I love you. I love you. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for spending this time with me. It's always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel so much. And if you haven't subscribed, please think about doing that. Come back, watch some of your other readings. It's free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I read them all and they mean the world to me. Absolutely. That is a true statement. I look forward to seeing every day. I look forward to reading and going through the messages and all of this. So, Cancer, with that, I will say again, I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk in just a few days. Good night, good night, good night. Well, and it might be morning, so good morning. Have a good day.